We find our brothers standing on the fringes of the haven. As Isaac's message completes, the three of you are left with a sinking feeling in your gut. You know your brother. You know how seriously he takes everything. You know that despite relentless teasing, he has not uttered the word cowabunga a single time in 13 full years. Not since you all made that decision. You know this isn't a postcard. It's a cry for help. Your brother is in trouble. The blue glow that rested on Beetle finally dissipates, and she looks like a normal cat again. She takes a good long stretch and then begins to casually sniff around the area. What do you all do?
So she isn't a bomb. That's good. That would have been really sad.
How do we know he's still alive? How do we... Okay, is there... And I'm going to pick up Beetle gently, but I want to pick her up.
No. Roll. I need you to roll. I think the check to pick up a cat that does not want to be picked up, the DC for that persuasion check is 30. If you don't want to get scratched, that's a 30 check across the board.
But you'll let me do persuasion?
Yes.
Okay. So I walk up to her and I say, Beetle, I know we've had our differences.
Beetle tenses up.
I'm like, you know what's coming. I go, just please, just be careful of arteries. And then that's an unnatural 20, but that's not going to do it.
No. Yeah, you do see as you pick up Beetle, she lashes out at you. Okay, does a 16 hit?
Yes.
So she is going to do 2 damage.
Dang.
As you just get a claw right across your hand as you attempt to pick her up. Are you going to like continue to hold her?
No, Ellis very quickly gives up.
Okay.
He gets scratched. He audibly says, "Owie." And then he turns and he walks back to Will and he goes, "Will, can you see?"
And so Will walks over and he picks her up and kind of brings her over to Ellis. But
yeah, you see Beetle just immediately like rolls over onto her back, like in your arms, is just like fully relaxed for just a moment. And then and then you get like within like 4 feet of Ellis, and you see her claws just begin to like distend out of her paws.
Is this close enough for you to do your magic thing?
I think that it's probably the wisest distance. Just let me see. And he just kind of squints at her, and I'd like to do an Arcana check to see if I can
go for it.
See if I could get, because I doubt I'd be able to see like, sent receipts like you can on like some text messages or something like that, where you can see like the exact time. Like I think just like generalized, how old is the message? Like a few weeks, a few months, a few days, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's a 9.
With a 9, I think, unfortunately, I don't think you're able to discern any of that information. But as you're kind of like, you're just like sort of sensing the residual magic that is still surrounding her. Yes, she's not glowing anymore, but anytime a spell is cast, there is magic that is left on the air. You unfortunately are not able to see when the spell originated, but you do remember something about Animal Messenger. You do know that if you wanted to listen to the message again, you probably could.
Ellis, you said you could play the message again?
Oh, yeah, I can. Why?
It might be good to look back at it. Maybe Isaac left us more clues. He seems like he was trying to almost write it in code. So maybe there's more hints.
Okay. And he turns and he looks at Beetle and he says, hold her down.
Yeah, he kind of like holds her and then says like, all right, Beetle, please don't be violent.
Yeah, nice. And he just like stands far back but reaches just his hand over and just touches the top of her head just with 2 fingers. Just kind of strokes her just very as nicely and as gently as he can. He really is not trying to bother her, but he's just trying to get the message to turn back on.
Hey boys, it's Isaac. As you know, I am enjoying a beautiful vacation by the Pink Sea, and I can confirm it is just as beautiful as we remembered. I wanted to say how much I miss you guys and how I cannot wait for you to join me here. Before long, all 4 of us will be jumping into it, saying, Cowabunga. It's going to be something to remember. So seriously, do not take your time getting down here. See you soon. Isaac. Why don't you roll me either insight or investigation checks and let me know which you roll.
Ellis is going to go insight. He's trying to pick up on vibes.
Got a good roll for investigation.
Ellis, what'd you get?
17.
Will?
28 investigation.
Oh my.
Like, he should have picked this up the first time. I don't know what Noah was hiding. But he was distracted by the almost exploding cat and wasn't paying attention, apparently.
Yeah, so Will has like a murder board up already, and he's like,
how did you do that so fast? It's detailed. Why am I on it?
Ellis, a couple things that you immediately pick up on. You hear him say the Pink Sea, which is, of course, a real place that you recognize. However, he also says it's just as beautiful as we remembered, which immediately sticks out to you because none of you have ever left Lyria, which is the continent that Lifefall is on, except for Ellis's brief stints, like to the omnibus. So that's immediately, Ellis recognizes that as, oh, that's a clue too, right? Why would he just lie about that? Makes no sense. I think also on a 17, you are very familiar with causing your brother distress. You can hear that in his voice. As happy as he might sound, you, as his brother who has heard it countless times, you know that he has veiled his distress behind this happy-go-lucky message. You can confirm in your mind that he was distressed about something when he gave this message. This wasn't a message that he recorded and then something bad happened.
Gotcha.
Will, with a 28, the first time you listened, you heard the message. And it sounded like a normal message until you heard the word Cowabunga. And that's when I think the switch kind of flips for Will. So now, when he is listening back, he is no longer listening to the message. Will, you've already ruled that out as nonsense. The message isn't important. So you begin to listen to what's happening around Isaac. The first thing you notice is it sounds like he's at the beach. You know, you hear kids playing, seagulls cawing, ocean waves crashing onto the sand. But then you notice a strange hum that travels throughout the entire recording with absolutely no change whatsoever. It starts at the beginning and lasts all the way to the end. The closest thing you could compare it to is like a swarm of bees And then I think as you're kind of listening to that, something about the beach sounds themselves, they sound almost like too perfect. I think for now, that's all you're going to get.
I believe Isaac's in trouble, and that's all I know. If you all want to come on in to the Haven, spend the night, and we'll take off in the morning if you guys are willing. And we'll go bail out our idiot older brother. And
I have one question before we go into Haven. Z, why were you transformed?
There was simply a newcomer who was not quite as prepared for his new acquired tastes, and we had to handle a situation pretty quickly. You just caught me at the tail end of it.
I don't want to sound like I don't know. Would it be safe for us to stay in Haven?
Yeah, you'd be about as safe in there as you would sleeping out here. And at least in there you would have some kind of a bed.
Is it a mattress? Or is it like a hammock situation? Or
would you prefer a hammock?
Do you have like a large, really padded chair that I could recline in?
Yeah, there's a couple. Like if that's all you're looking for, Will, you can basically take just about any rocking chair on any of the porches.
All right, I'll probably do that. Got my trusty quilt.
Your trusty quilt?
Never leave the museum without it.
What do you have a trusty quilt for? Why is it trustworthy?
It hasn't failed him yet.
Is it magically enhanced?
You see, Will looks at you like, and he seems like almost offended when you asked that question. And you never know how much you'll appreciate a good blanket until you're spending 3 days in a sewer.
What? Wait, what?
Good.
No, wait. Will, this blanket has been with you for 3 days in a sewer.
Oh, it's been in worse places, but it's been cleaned very well.
Worse than a sewer? What was worse than a sewer?
It's a matter of personal opinion.
Answer my question, please. What is worse than a sewer to you?
Well, I mean, Bat Island.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Bat Island is bad. Oh, and Ellis like shivers a little bit. And goes, "I would like to come inside now." And he starts walking into Haven. Why'd you even say it? Like I thought we weren't going to say the name of that place anymore.
That's why I hesitated so much.
I did not think you were going to say something just objectively right. I didn't. You said a matter of opinion, and then just said the true answer. That was just.
You all begin to make your way into the Haven. And as you do, you see that they have already cleaned up the mess, Z. You wouldn't even really know that there was about 2 gallons of blood on the ground a little bit ago.
It's just one guy drinking it off the ground, just on...
Drew and I had the same awful thought.
Can't let any of it go to waste.
You see that it's all kind of tidied up. You do see Jackson, who is sitting over by the fire, blanket wrapped around him. You see one of the other vampires has their arm around him. So you mentioned you have a place for your brothers to stay. Where do you think that is, and what does that look like?
I think that Z has a small cabin-esque type thing where it's pretty ramshackle. Like he's like it's older and kind of like untouched, and it's just right behind like his shack that he lives in, and it just has 3 beds in it.
Oh, okay. So he has 3 beds, as in not counting his own. So specifically, like preparing for a situation just like this.
Yeah.
Got it. Very cool. So yeah, you take your brothers over to this small little shack. You open up the door. Ellis, you see this humble little room with 3 beds, clearly prepared and ready for such a time as this.
I go over and I like press on the mattress a little bit. Thank you, Z. This looks great. I feel like, you know, the 3 of us are all here together. When was the last time we all were hanging out?
I don't know. I don't think me and you and Will have been in the same area for at least 5 years since I left home.
I guess it has been that long.
How have you guys been? What have you been up to?
Well, I've just been here at Haven, obviously, just trying to make it a home for everybody. I haven't really got up to much except for the day-to-day, which I'm sure would bore the likes of both of you. Will, I have the feeling, Will, that you've gotten up to some real shenanigans over the last few years. Like, you good?
Yeah, I'm fine. It hasn't been too crazy. Just
we get like a flashback. There's just like fire raining from the sky, and he's running and screaming, like just like flying up. He gets stuck in quicksand and like goes all the way under,
running away from a rolling boulder going down through a track.
Yeah.
Just,
found the Ark of the Covenant, but
which covenant?
Yeah, no, I things have been fine. I've been, just working at the museum, collecting just relics and going on grocery runs. Nothing too special.
That museum's still open?
Yes, and it's doing very well.
Oh, well, good. I just didn't know. I hadn't heard anything about it recently.
I will admit, we aren't getting the foot traffic that we'd like, but I think there will be a resurgence, and so far we're just adding to our collection.
You got a big artifact coming? Is that where the resurgence comes in?
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure what the Shrine of Dalbamont is.
Shrine of Dalbamont.
I do know I need to get that, but it's apparently an entire shrine.
Ellis starts sweating. No. He does say that though. He goes, the Shrine of Dalbamont.
Yeah. Do you know anything about it?
Z closed the door, and he just goes, this artifact I was taught about in the omnibus. I was told that the Shrine of Dalbamont is one of the most powerful artifacts of in the entire world. Crazy powerful, deep, evil magic. What are you doing looking for the Shrine of Dalbamont?
Roll a deception check.
Whoa, you can't just say 13.
Insight.
If we use my passive insight, that's 15.
Oh yeah, passive insight's great.
What about Z?
I don't think Z's listening.
Come on, dude.
We're standing in the same room.
I told you to close the doors.
Small cabins. Ellis, if you don't know about a relic, like Don't pretend like you do. Get my hopes up.
I was just joking. I was just joshing with you. It's just a joke. And he just kind of like stands there for a second and goes, I graduated from the omnibus.
Oh, hey.
Congrats, man.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you. Yes, with flying colors.
Is that a spell?
No. Well, kind of, but no. To graduate, I had to cast a fireball. And I made it look like fireworks. And he points at Z and smiles.
Nice.
Like exploded all blue and green, so it was cool. It was rad.
That's great.
Yeah. Still felt really dangerous though. Like it felt like because I was like 5 feet away from it.
Why'd you cast it so close?
I wasn't really trying to. It was an accident.
You accidentally set off fireworks?
No, not this time. Remember when we were kids and we had those fireworks and I lit the one in my hand and then I like put it back to like really get a good huck out of it and it exploded behind my head. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to die. Kind of a similar situation to that.
Are you going to be able to cast it at the right distance when we're on our way to save Isaac?
Oh yeah, I mean I can try it now if you want. And he starts like making it in his hand.
I'd really prefer you didn't do that here.
I can throw it outside and it could blow up in like the sky.
There's several people here that I don't think would react well if a bright light or noise happened in the middle of the night.
Would it cause a stampede?
That's racist, Will. That's racist, Will.
No,
you can't say that. You can't say that.
Everybody's changing into animals and they freak out.
Oh my goodness!
Like not like a full like.
That was. And he stands like right next to Z, and he just goes, "I'm sorry." He said that. I'm sorry. That was awful. That was just awful.
I didn't mean it as an insult.
No, that's what we call it. It's happened before.
That really got me, dude. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I need to get some water.
From there, I think we're going to move into the next day. The three of you are awake, sitting at the picnic tables along with the rest of the community of Haven, and you are beginning to discuss what needs to happen today in order for you to leave Lyria as quickly as possible and make your way to the Pink Sea. Here's what you know. The Pink Sea is nowhere close to Lyria, and it's expensive to get there. The cheapest boat ride is 350 gold pieces.
Ellis, like, he looks around, he just goes, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit concerned. You know, it's easy to just say, oh, we're going to go. But it gets a little bit harder when we get into the logistics of that. Monetarily. Zia, you got some cash hidden in a tree or something?
I got a little bit of something, but like, do you two not have money? You guys live in the city. You have like jobs and stuff.
Oh, I don't work.
How do you afford to live in the city then?
As long as I was going to school, I was getting paid in, work, study, which was mostly just, feed yourself while we are while you're going to school, and then I was able to leverage that into a very fine wine collection. But now I don't have as much money as I would like to in this situation.
Well, then that means we have two options as far as I see it. We need to either find something to do a favor for somebody that would be worth a lot, or we need to steal a boat.
Stealing a boat, I think we should put down on the list, I think.
I think that's the fastest solution for sure.
I think it's listen, Z, it's the fastest solution, but it's also the solution that makes us fugitives. And if we are fugitives while also trying to save our brother, that's just too much on our plate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not very fun to be like on the run from people.
What makes you say that, Will?
I have some stuff we can sell, and he pulls out his like go bag, which is essentially a duffel bag, and he sets it on the picnic table and opens it up. And before he does, he looks at each of them in the eye, like he's like about to open the box on something spectacular. And then he slowly unzips it and then opens up the duffel bag and looks at both of you and is like mouth open, like, right?
It's sure shiny.
Ellis looks in. He goes, what is it?
This is a key to a library that burned down 100 years ago. Yeah, this is a cool mirror. It's old. Found it in a dude's grave.
The mirror part's missing.
We could get a new mirror.
Oh,
this is a cool knife.
Nice.
All this stuff is like it's antiques. If we find the right auction or pawn shop, we could get maybe enough for like one of our tickets.
Well, rad. That's one of us. So how about the other two?
We could steal a boat.
No, okay, so we're not going to steal a boat because that still leaves two of us as fugitives. Now, if you want to give me the ticket and then you guys want to be fugitives, that's your own volition.
Like, you're only a fugitive if they know who you are.
Z, I feel like you have really a lot of trust in yourself and also us that we will 100% get away with this stolen boat
The
thing.
three of you hear this deep, booming voice. Clint speaks up, says, "Can any of you sail?" I'm just saying, a boat's not really worth much if you can't use it.
That is a good point.
That is a good point. I hadn't thought that far.
You know, you could always do it the old-fashioned way.
What is that?
The shell hopper. It's always got at least a couple of jobs up on the board.
How much do they pay each one?
Depends on what's there. Changes out every day.
Do you think that there would be anything about like public speaking or magic? Well, wait, that I could talk to my cult. I could take a donation from my cult.
Did you say cult?
If you're a cop, you have to tell me you're a cop.
I'm just curious. You're a cult leader.
I like to think of myself as a life coach. I go out and people gather and I speak to them and give them hope about, the world, how to teach them a new way of living.
And there are people that want to hear what you have to say, huh?
I don't like your tone. Yes, people typically care what I have to say because I have pretty good things to say.
I apologize. I didn't mean to sound.
Listen,
Z's
it's
been
okay.
telling me I tend to sound a little sarcastic sometimes. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. It's okay. I just
trying to sound interested.
Okay, well then I apologize for getting upset. People do care what I have to say, and usually, they go around and I talk to them and and ask ask them questions, and they ask questions, and then I give them answers to the best of my ability, and we all leave happier. It's a good thing. It's a great time.
Ellis, do you know what a cult is?
Yeah.
So, you know the implication.
What implication?
They're generally not good.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you're just casually talking about it as if it's not a big deal.
Yeah, because my cult is good.
Okay.
My cult is it's a group of just free-willed, like, philosophers trying to find meaning in the world. That's why we're called the Order of Answers. And we're just trying to find answers in existence. But we've been labeled a cult, and I've taken it as like a badge of honor. We've really taken,
why?
You know. Ellis just like looks at Clint, and he goes, "You said earlier that you're just trying to sound interested."
No, I'm not anymore.
It really feels like you're not
No.
anymore. Okay.
Why would you take being called a cult as a badge of honor?
I just kind of saw it as a situation where, like, you know, like a "hey, I made it" kind of thing.
So Clint, I grew up with this for like 20 years. Like,
Listen, I'm offering an idea. My cult, I could get them to donate. You know, just a few. You know, they could probably donate a little bit. I could probably get a few gold coins.
that's fair enough. Will, you got any other ideas?
I was thinking, you know, Eddie gestures towards the duffel bag of what does appear to the untrained eye to be junk.
Look, no offense, Will, but like this kind of stuff kind of does require us to have somebody that is willing to pay for stolen antiquities. Do you have a buyer lined up?
That's a fair point. I do think that this could work, but I don't have a clear buyer lined up at the moment. So
far, to my best judgment, our best lead is picking up an odd job for some quick gold.
So with that, we're going to move away, cut to a couple hours later as you all are entering back into Lifefall. Ellis and Will, you all have been here long enough to consider this place your home. But Z, it's been a while since you've been here. What's going on with Z as you make your way towards the tavern?
I think Z is currently just like mumbling to himself, like little chants that he usually does, where he's just trying to tone out the noise. Because I think the natural noise in his head is loud enough, and whenever he gets around like cities and a lot of people and stuff, it just feels like it gets louder and louder. And it just like kind of hurts like a migraine, and it's just trying to like tone it out to the best of his ability.
So you are thinking these rhythmic chants to yourself, trying to drone out the city, and then you hear a voice call out on top of the rest, something very pointed that you can no longer drown out as it gets closer and closer. You hear someone call out, "Hey, Coach! Coach!"
Ellis turns around and just goes, who is it?
Ellis, as you turn around, you do see a member of your group, a member of the Order of Answers. You see this little bright red kobold runs out of the crowd. He's wearing a little bowler hat and a vest and no other clothes. And he runs right up to you very excitedly, big grin across his face. And then he immediately drops to one knee and he says, "Coach, it's been so long since I've seen you. Are you going to be giving a message later on today?"
Yeah, probably at some point. I've been thinking about it. It's good to see you too, Fodder. You can stand up now, by the way. Here's the situation. Okay. First of all, these are my brothers.
Fodder gets down on one knee again.
You don't have to bow to them.
Okay. He immediately shoots back up.
Is his name Fodder? Is your name Fodder?
Yes. Fodder.
Fodder. Why?
Nah.
It's a name that has been passed down for generations.
You're like the 36th Fodder, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, generations as in we all hatched from eggs 100 years ago when Mycos birthed us all.
Wait, you're 100 years old?
No, I'm 46.
Listen, there are holes in his existence. It doesn't matter, okay? Fodder, I need you to send a message to the rest of the members of our cult, okay? I need you to tell them that I need to go on a journey.
You see complete and utter fear takes over Fodder's face. He says, "You're leaving?"
Yeah, but only for a bit, because I need to, I want to come back, but got to take care of this, because, don't want my brother to be mutilated or die. Don't spiral. Hey, breathe, Fodder. Breathe, Fodder.
What am I going to do?
You're going to be fine.
What am I going to do?
Honestly, though, Fodder, that gives me a good idea. Do you have prospects here?
I don't know what I would do if you weren't here to tell me what to do.
Fodder, what if... Okay. One moment. And I turn to the brothers, and I go like, can we like huddle up for a second? So Fodder is a loser. He's a huge loser. When I found him, he was just face down in a bowl of trash. And I mean a bowl of trash. It wasn't a trash can. He had taken a bowl, scooped up some trash and put it in there. But since then, he really has been a loyal friend to me. And I think that we could use an assistant. Fodder, I don't know what you've been saying, but I heard you say I'm gonna do it. And I need you to just calm down for just a second, okay? Just breathe.
He does not seem stable.
He's not. However, he's really good. He's really loyal, and he's smart, I guess. And I think that we could use an assistant.
I'm ready.
As much as I would love to take your personal servant with us on a trip, we can't afford to get there ourselves currently. We would have to raise an additional person's amount of money to get
but
there.
He can, I mean, look at the size of him, though. He could fit in a bag.
Yes.
No, just while people are looking. We can let him out to, like, walk around and stuff. But, like, we can just put him back in whenever, like, other people...
I don't think this is a good idea.
Listen, I think it's a great idea. And I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. And he turns around and he just goes, Fodder, I would like to hire you. Me and my brothers, are looking for an assistant/wise man position. Okay? Now, it doesn't pay. But endless experience.
Endless? How does that work?
I don't know. We use Milestone.
That's all, folks. Thank you for coming. All right. Have a good day. The band is waving goodbye.
So you see Fodder looks up at you. Coacher, are you for real?
Yeah, I'm for real.
Are you asking what I think you're asking? That I could finally be your assistant coach?
Whoa. I said, listen, okay. So, Fodder, listen. Here's the deal, okay?
Okay.
This position is intern/wise man.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh.
A step above that is full wise man.
Oh. Okay.
A step above that is assistant
Oh,
coach.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you can work your way up into that position.
I'm in.
But okay.
in.
All right, good. Your first mission is to go gather the rest of the cults.
Okay. He takes off
Whoa,
running.
fodder. Wait. I didn't tell you what to tell them or what to get them to do. He's gone.
Hey, Will.
Yeah.
Bet you didn't go. He doesn't make it to the boat.
I'm sure he'll be fine. He's sturdy.
I'll take that bet.
So we're going to move from here over to the Shell Hopper. It's Friday night at the Shell Hopper, and that means business is good. This place's vibe manages to ride the line between a local favorite and a common stop very well. Adventurers are constantly passing through and brushing shoulders with lifefall common folk, and that is precisely what Desmond, the owner of this establishment, loves about it. For lack of a better term, Desmond is a snail person. While his body is mostly humanoid in shape, his face and hands very clearly match the color and consistency of the common snail. His shell extends a solid 3 feet behind him, his clothes cut around it so you can see the beautiful brown swirl. He stands behind the bar, cleaning a glass with a rag, and you can see that one of his eyes, suspended on its stalk, clocks you as you enter. A toothless grin spreads across his face. "See, my friend. Long time no see."
Hey, Desmond.
Long time no
Yeah.
Z, more like. Guy elbow him. Like my joke, Z. You like it? You doing it?
Yeah, it's been a while, Des. Sorry, I've been come by a little more often. Just busy.
Busy, more like. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Desmond says, "Oh, you don't have to apologize. I know the work you do is extremely important, and it is good that you are so focused on it. What can I do for you today?"
We need some jobs. Preferably any ones that you have that would be worth a decent amount of coin. We need to book a boat as soon as possible, but we do not really have the funds to do so.
Ah, I see. Well, he motions over to this big, bulletin board over on the wall. You see that it has only 3 pieces of paper pinned to it. He says, "As you can see, the pickings are slim, but I believe at least one of those is pretty high paying, if you're interested."
Thanks, Des. I'll go check those out.
Great. And how's the new guy doing?
He's doing all right. He had a pretty rough first day.
Roll me an insight check.
I have so many things I'm bad at, and it's just like an extra, it's a twist of the knife whenever I roll bad as well. So that'd be an 8.
You notice he just kind of ponders what you said, and he says, "All right then, well, I'm sure he'll come around. He's in good hands."
Yeah, about as good hands as he could be.
You see Desmond just someone else walks up to the bar, and he says, "If you'll excuse me," and he walks over and begins to serve them.
All right, Z will walk over to the board and look at what odd jobs are available to him.
Got it. Is that Ellis and Will? You sticking with him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Will is. I forgot to describe it earlier. Also, ever since they got in the city, Will is wearing a. He's wearing a dirty beggar's poncho
Okay.
with the hood up.
Okay.
Hasn't explained why to the others, but he's just he pulled it out of one of his bags and just put it over and is keeping it down, and he periodically fake coughs to himself.
Every time he fake coughs to himself, Ellis very loudly just goes, "Will, are you okay? Do you need to go lay down, Will?"
Oh, just Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
On the bulletin board, you see, as I said, 3 pieces of paper. The first is titled Wanted, Dead or Alive. And you see a picture of a human woman with angular features and most notably purple hair. This is like a color drawing. It is listed at 400 gold pieces. The second is titled Bandit Stole My Dog! Exclamation point. It reads, bandits are posted up in the right side wood. Please go kill them. I will pay you 300 gold pieces. If you bring my dog Frankie back alive, I will also give you my personal bag of holding with everything inside. It is signed, Buck.
So that one, probably.
And then there is the third one, which is 1,000 gold pieces to be split between whoever ensures I survive the night. Dr. Lau needs protection.
What the frick, Noah? That's the nichest joke. What in the world? For our listeners, Dr. Lau was our pediatrician.
Yeah, I'm very proud of myself.
I know you are. I know you freaking are. Because you know we're going to do that one, too.
I'm super invested in the saving the dog named Frankie from Buck.
We need to save Buck's dog.
We gotta do this Dr. Lau one. Maybe we could do both.
Because we have to do. Yeah, I think that we do Dr. Lau and then we go save Frankie.
Yeah. What time is it, Noah?
The west side wood is pretty far away. It would take the vast majority of the day to get over there.
So we probably wouldn't have time to get back.
Yeah, not like, I mean, you could do that, but then you would be getting to Dr. Lau's house pretty late.
Yeah, so we could do like the save Frankie tomorrow, like morning or something.
It's looking like if you want to accept this job, you also have to agree to like spend another night in Lifefall. So you won't be able to leave until tomorrow at the earliest, you know?
Yeah.
The upside is that 1,000 gold pieces is the vast majority of what you all would need to be able to get the boat ride tickets out of here.
Yeah.
So.
And then if we did that and then saved Frankie, we would have more than enough money and a bag of holding.
I think we take this one, right? And Will points to the Dr. Lau needs protection.
I think we can take both, right? A bag of holding will be really, really helpful in the long run.
It would. I wouldn't have to carry my duffel bag around.
And fodder.
That would kill him.
What?
Things can't breathe in there.
We could give him a snorkel, and I could have the snorkel just hanging out at the end. That's a good idea. We'll do that. So we need to invest in a snorkel as well.
So Will grabs both. The bandit stole my dog, and Dr. Lau needs protection.
Just to be clear, you can take them off the wall, but you don't have to.
I think we do, just to make sure nobody else is stepping on our toes.
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay.
Ellis turns around to the guy who was also looking at the board and says, "Back off. You get that one. You get that one."
You have to kill that lady.
I can't even remember what it said because I've been so thrown off by the Dr. Lau Easter egg.
It was Wanted, Dead or Alive, the woman with purple hair and angular features, I think.
Yeah. Was that like in the city, or is that just like a wanted poster with no
Yeah, it seems just like a wanted poster. Like just as you were walking through the city, no real necessary. You've seen that poster posted other places as well. So what do you all want to do?
When technically does night start? Because like
It was not clear on the note.
should we already get over there, or do we have time for dinner?
I think since the whole thing is not especially clear, I think it would be better if we got over there early rather than late.
And if he's already dead, do we take that as a win or a loss?
I would say a loss, because then he couldn't pay us.
Oh, yeah, right.
And the city has suffered a great loss. One of their their
top positions.
We love you, Dr. Lau.
Hope you're doing well. Also, why are you listening to this podcast? You're like 90.
You all begin to make your way across town to Dr. Lau's residence. Dr. Lau lives at the far end of Life Fall. It takes you a solid hour to walk there just by foot. It's in the more like rundown part of town. However, as you approach this small home, the address that was printed on the note, you see a very quaint, well manicured home, a garden full of well taken care of flowers, this brick home with this dark oak door with a knocker on it stands before you. What do you all do?
Well, hello, good sir. We are here to protect you.
Okay, I did not describe there is not a person.
No, I thought that beforehand you were talking about somebody standing in the doorway.
Oh, no.
No.
So
No, there's just a door.
Ellis is practicing what he's going to say. He's going, Dr. Lau, we are here to protect you. What is it that we need to protect you from? Does that sound good to everybody?
It sounds
Yeah,
pretty
sure,
good to
whatever.
me.
All right. Now let's go in.
You all make your way to the door, and do you knock using the knocker?
I think that Ellis knocks on the actual door, despite there being a knocker there.
Fair enough. You knock on the door, and you wait a few moments, and nothing happens.
Z, kick the door down.
I do not believe that is necessary.
He hasn't answered the door yet. We're supposed to protect this man. He could be dying on the floor in there. We need to get in there.
Maybe he just wants us to use the knocker. And Will knocks using that.
As you use the knocker, you see that there is a string that pulls out with the knocker, and as you knock, a bell rings upstairs. Then you hear footsteps like stumble towards the door, and the door opens. And you see before you this old man with smile lines and these big, thick glasses to where like his eyes just fill them entirely. His hair is all messy. His purple bow tie is askew. He has like several like stains on his shirt, and you can see that there's actually burn marks from where like something spilled on him and like his shirt caught fire. He just like reeks of chemicals and smoke, and he looks out at you with just these wide eyes. And why don't you all roll me insight checks?
All right, that is a nat 20 plus 5.
What? Is this our first nat 20?
On an insight check for Dr. Lau.
All right, well, on a nat 20. While Dr. Lau looks disheveled right now, you immediately clock that this is a guy who 9.9 times out of 10 does not look like this. This is a well put together guy. Clearly, he is under an abnormal amount of stress. On a nat 20, I think Will also spots something even deeper. You see guilt. Dr. Lau looks at you all, eyes so wide in these thick glasses, and he says, "Can I help you?"
Well, hello, sir. My name is Ellis. This is my brother Z, and this is my brother Will. And we are responding to your ad that you put out to protect you for one night. I'm guessing from evildoers or monsters or...
I see. Okay. One moment. And he closes the door, and you hear just like bottles just like jangling around. And then he opens the door back up, and he is holding this glowing yellow vial. Without letting you all inside, just kind of sets this little tiny rockety table out, sets the potion on it, and then grabs 3 shot glasses and lines them up and begins to pour the yellow liquid into the 3 shot glasses.
Before I can let you inside, I need you all to take a drink. It's just a potion that will force you to tell the truth.
Only if you drink some of it too.
I'd be happy to, but I need to know who I'm talking to first.
As my ever suspicious character, can I just do a real quick roll to make sure this is like essentially a potion of truthfulness?
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check.
Can I make a perception check to see if it's P?
It might be.
It might be P.
Okay.
That's
It's
a
a
19. Oh, this is a little miniature series within the series. Rolling Arcana, me rolling Perception, and it's the same thing.
Okay. You know that this is not P, and I think that going off your nat 20 from earlier and looking at this potion, there's nothing strange about this potion. This potion is basically going to cast Zone of Truth on you.
I mean, Will drinks it. Just like a shot. Sends it down.
Dr. Lau looks expectantly at the other 2 of you.
Yeah, sure, whatever. He reaches out and takes it.
Ellis downs it.
He looks down at Beetle, and he says,
Is that just a normal cat, or is she in your party? You can't be too sure.
and he pours some of the potion just on the ground, and Beetle just comes over and just kind of like looks at it, but it doesn't look like she's gonna drink it right now.
She has too many secrets.
Do you got problems with druids?
I need to know that all of you are telling the truth.
We are. We just took this potion of truth telling, and I'm telling you, she's a cat.
She's you see Dr. Lau looks at you and says, "You know what? That's actually a really good point. Let me just ask you point blank. Is she a cat?"
Yes, she's just a cat.
As far as I can tell, she's a cat.
You see like Dr. Lau like relaxes, and as soon as Beetle sees she doesn't have to drink it, she starts just like lapping it up.
Drives me nuts.
He looks at the three of you and he says,
Now to business. Will you try to kill me in the night?
No.
Not unless you attack me.
No, not without good reason.
Will you do everything in your power to protect me?
That is the job.
Definitely not.
what does Will say?
He's being really quiet, trying hoping that Dr. Lau won't notice.
He looks at you, Ellis, and he says,
Can you expand upon that a little bit?
I'm a sorcerer, so I kind of have like a lot of power. And you're like, will you do all within your power? And I'm like, dude, you don't even want to see that. You know?
How's this? Will you attempt to save my life tonight?
Yeah, sure.
and you, he points at you, Will, you didn't say anything. Would you please answer the question?
Yes. And then coughs and tries to, like, as he's finishing the sentence to remain truthful, just mutters under his breath, unless I figure out that I need to not.
You see Dr. Lau's eyes squint, and it's so obvious because his eyes are so magnified. And he just looks over at you and he says, you all have passed. And he says, quickly, come in. he opens the door, and as you all begin to move forward, he says, "Oh, wait," and he presses a button next to the door frame, and you all hear several metallic clicks just power off some kind of trap that would have happened if you guys had actually stepped through the threshold without him running this test with you. He shuts the door, locks it, reactivates the trap with this small button, and he says, "Okay." And then he takes the potion and takes a swig of it. Says, "As promised, ask me anything you like. But please, let's do a bit of a walk and talk." And he begins walking upstairs. It's a small house, but it does have 2 floors. It's just very skinny. Right in front of the open doorway is the set of stairs that go up, and you see he begins making his way to an office that is on the right-hand side of the building.
Now that we've agreed to protect you, why do you need protection?
A few nights ago, I was experimenting with a new type of healing potion. It was requiring me to mix together several different types of elixirs, and I had to leave the room for a moment. And when I came back, the concoction was gone. I seem to have inadvertently created something that is, needless to say, causing me quite a bit of distress. I have not seen it yet with my own eyes, but things have begun to disappear around the house. Specifically, things that are organic in nature. My icebox and pantry are both completely empty at this point. And then, of course, there's this. And as he reaches the top of the stairs, he motions over to a wall where you can see that from the floor to the ceiling, it is just covered in this clear goo.
What kind of goo we talking? Can I roll Arcana to see if it's like ectoplasm?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Can I roll perception to see if it's Vaseline?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna roll nature to see if it's goo.
Okay.
I got a 12.
Okay. What'd you get, Justice?
Not 20 plus 5 to see if it's Vaseline.
You have to stop. You have to stop. And Drew.
Oh, let's see. I rolled a 9 minus 1, so 8.
Okay. It's goo, man. I think that you feel pretty confident that it is goo. Ellis, I don't think you have seen ectoplasm before, so you wouldn't know for sure, but there's no like ethereal magic surrounding it. So I don't think Ellis would jump to that conclusion.
Okay.
Will, you know for certain that this is not Vaseline.
All right.
You've never been so sure of anything in your entire life.
That was close.
It was nearly Vaseline, dude. It was so close to being Vaseline. I was so worried. I was so glad it's not.
Will, with your nat 20 perception check, I'll also give you this, even though you were really only looking to see if it was Vaseline. You see this streak that's like floor to ceiling. And you notice it slides flush to the top of the ceiling. Say you have a little dollop of ketchup and you take the fry, you can see the direction that you moved the ketchup in, right? You can see that this sludge moved up the wall and then disappeared directly into the crack of the ceiling. So where the ceiling and the wall met, the sludge disappeared into the wall. Dr. Lau says, these markings are in other areas of the house as well, but they have only appeared at night. That's why I asked for protection tonight. That, and the fact that
There's a bit of evidence to suggest whatever this thing is has moved on from apples.
He opens the door into his main laboratory. You see just so many different potions and lab equipment. You can see it's just a mess in here. He's clearly trying to find some way to fix it on his own. Everything is out, not in its rightful place. But he leads you away from the primary lab equipment over to this wire cage with like several like tubes and a wheel inside. But you see that it noticeably has no living creatures inside whatsoever. It is completely empty, but for a bit of sludge residue. He says,
Yesterday I had 3 lab rats. Now I have none. This thing that I created is getting larger, and I fear that it's coming for me next.
Have you set traps for it?
I have not, but while I am no expert in this sort of thing, the fact that it is able to move so freely makes me believe that no trap would be able to contain it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we should check your... Do you have an attic?
I do not have an attic, no.
Basement?
No.
Secret room?
you see he gets nervous.
If we're gonna be protecting you, we need to know about every room in the house, you know?
He walks over on some of his lab equipment. There's like a nozzle, and he just turns it to the right once and then to the left twice. And you see that a shelf opens up away from the wall just about an inch. And he walks over and opens it up. You see that the ceilings are actually like pretty high in this building, and you see this room that opens up is about 10 feet deep as well. So it's almost like this square room, and you see inside it there is just a sofa with like a little lamp, and he just says,
I often have people stay here while they are in recovery, and occasionally I need to take a moment for myself. I use this room for that. I assure you there's no more secret rooms.
Then I think it may be in your ceiling.
He nods and he closes the shelf as he secures and locks it.
It is certainly possible. But I will leave all that up to you. Now that you know what you need to know, I'm going to get back to work to see if I can do anything to help myself.
All right, sounds good. Z, could you punch the ceiling?
Please don't punch my ceiling if you can help it. I really...
Listen, we have a process, sir. We can either find it due to echolocation or by punching it in the face on like the first or third try.
Echolocation is not a thing. I do...
Wait, are you against the idea of echolocation? Do you not believe in
It's
it?
very real and very frightening.
He turns. He goes, Will, it's okay. It's okay. You've upset him, sir.
Do you, Ellis, have echolocation?
I just feel like you're being a little hostile now, and again, we're trying to help you.
Do not destroy my house.
We're not trying to destroy your house. We're trying to punch your ceiling so that we can find a monster and save your life.
Please just don't
Sir,
do it.
we're gonna punch the ceiling one way or another.
No,
I'm under a truth serum, and I must tell you that as soon as you walk away, we're gonna punch the ceiling. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that we punch the ceiling.
He sighs and he just says, fine, and he walks away. You won. Congratulations.
Z, punch the ceiling.
Will, if you can find the exact location, I will give it a shot. But I'm not just going to destroy this man's ceiling. I think it's much more likely if we just wait for the sun to go down that it'll show itself.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going to keep track of Beetle and Will kind of picks her up and puts her on his shoulder.
Oh, Beetle's not there.
Oh, so oh, this creature ate Dr. Lau's hamster or rat, and now Beetle is missing. All right. Will leaves to go look for Beetle.
What are the two of you do?
Z left the second he realized Beetle was gone.
Ellis follows Will.
So Z, why don't you go ahead and roll me either a perception or investigation check? You can decide. I don't know if it makes a difference.
It does, ever so slightly. That would be a 12 perception.
You do not see Beetle in here. But you do see there is a glass bottle on the ground, shattered, and you see that there is a bit of cat hair on the table that the glass bottle was on. So I think Z knows that she's in here somewhere.
Beetle, where are you, Beetle? Piece of junk cat.
So I think we're actually going to cut to tonight.
Beetle, where are you, Beetle?
She's dead, Z. Let it go.
Will, why don't you go ahead and make an investigation check for me?
Can I give him disadvantage because I was following him around?
Yeah, the opposite of the help action. Yeah. Go for it. Disadvantage.
All right. I rolled better on the second one. So that is a 14 plus 9, 23.
I think that, Will, with the 23, you're able to kind of multitask, but you're looking in and around this place, and you do find, like, in the icebox, in the pantry, it's completely empty, and it is a little disturbing just how much food this thing probably ate, and you're just wondering, like, man, how is this thing able to fit in the walls? But true to what Dr. Lau told you, you don't see any sign of the creature while the sun is still up. And you also don't see Beetle. You feel like you've turned the whole house inside out. And I think Will, being the kind of guy that he is fairly respectful of Dr. Lau's laboratory after he kicked you all out. Will hasn't really been searching around there. But eventually, with the sun going down, Will, you make your way back up into the room, realizing that there is only one place that you haven't checked, which is the secret room.
So he walks back into the laboratory.
You see Dr. Lau just furiously at work, just like mixing all these different potions.
Will turns to Ellis and says, I'm not sure how, but I need you to be a decoy while I look in his secret room. Are you all right with that?
That's fine. I create bonfire in the middle of the room. I just go, oh no, I'm fired. And I'm like, sir, what is this?
Dr. Lau goes, no.
This is bad. This is bad.
You're magical. Please do something.
Me? Oh, okay. Let me see something real quick. Let me see if I have anything for this. I'm going to pull out just my journal. I'm going to start going through and go, no, that won't work. No, that won't work. No, that won't work.
Will, what are you doing?
Turning the knob once to the right and then twice to the left.
The door pops open. You open up the door, and you do see Beetle curled up in a ball on this comfy chair in the middle, just fast asleep.
Will's just gonna duck in there and kind of try to scoop her up.
Before you do, why don't you roll me a perception check?
18.
You notice a little something, that the light is a little weird.
You see that the lamp that is next to Beetle is on. It doesn't look like it's illuminating as much of the room as you'd think it would, if that makes sense. It's like a candle that's like been burning. The flicker is off. Like there's almost like this additional effect when the flicker happens.
Does that look like I'm looking through something?
You go back to a moment when you were like a kid and you jumped into the river, and as you were just letting the river wash over you, you looked up at the sun. You thought it was so cool because you normally can't look at the sun, but you could through the water as it kind of refracted the light and lessened it.
And I haven't entered the room yet.
No.
Will's just going to kind of stick his arms forward and like try and see if I'm looking through something.
Everybody roll initiative.
Okay.
Gosh dang it! I will say I dropped concentration on the bonfire.
Cool.
14 plus 4, 18.
Z.
That would be a 13.
Ellis.
14.
All right.
I was just in the wrong room.
As you reach your hands forward, you are met immediately with a wall that gives as your hands begin to pass through it, and immediately begin to singe the edges of your hands. And you realize that this entire 10-foot cube of a room is a gelatinous cube. Unfortunately, the gelatinous cube did roll a nat 20 on their initiative. They are going to go first.
With Will like sticking his arms into it, could I do like kind of just like a dexterity thing to pull them out before he got it?
So here's the thing. I'm not going to roll any damage for you touching it initially. That's not what I was doing at all. I wasn't tricking you. I knew you were just testing it. But unfortunately, the gelatinous cube is going first. Engulf. The creature moves up to its speed. While doing so, it can enter large or smaller creatures' spaces. Whenever a cube enters a creature's space, the creature must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw. So go for it.
No. It's an 11.
Oh.
Missed it by 1.
Where did all your rolls go, my guy?
He wasted it on wondering if it was Vaseline.
I'm gonna roll some damage here.
I'm about to feel my constitution.
You are going to take 9 points of damage, acid damage. And as you are engulfed, you realize, oh, I can't breathe. And you immediately begin to feel the acid just tear into your skin. I will say also in this moment, as you begin to just feel such pain, you look over and you see that as the cube passed out of the room that it was hiding in, you do see that Beetle is still just asleep on the couch, perfectly unharmed. It was inside the cube this whole time, but completely fine. All right, and that will be the end of its turn for now. Will, that is your turn. You are restrained, but you can take an action to make a strength check to escape the gelatinous cube.
I don't have anything else I can do, so I'm going to do that.
Okay.
With my 9 strength. That's a 10 minus 1.
Okay. Yeah, Will, you are in a serious amount of danger. At this present moment, Will Brightmountain is not long for this world. Ellis, you see your brother suspended in this cube being eaten alive. What do you do?
For the first time in this, I'm going to pull out my quarterstaff. And my quarterstaff is always up my sleeve. So I just like reach in and just, and it's just like a full quarterstaff and I catch it. And I am going to stab the gelatinous cube into it, not to attack it, but just put the thing into it, like right to his hand. I'm going to cast Reduce on Will so that he doesn't fill the space that's all the way in there. He can grab onto that, and I can pull him out.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So why don't you tell the listeners what Enlarge Reduce does?
So typically, you can cause a creature or an object you can see within range to grow larger or smaller for the duration. Choose either a creature or an object that is neither worn nor carried. If the target is unwilling, it can make a Constitution saving throw. On a success, the spell has no effect.
All right, so Will, are you willing to be reduced?
Yes.
Great.
It means that he's halved. So he's half the size he typically is.
We see Will, you shrink. What does Will shrinking look like?
You know in like Mario Brothers, where like in like the Mario games, whenever he does like that, and it's like the few frames where it goes up, it's that backwards.
Yes, yeah.
So it goes like chink, 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 like just like 3 distinct frames into it. And now he's just very little. His proportions are the same, but he's half the size he typically is.
Great. I love that. I think so this is what I'm going to say. The creature making the attempt, it says in here, that you would take the damage as well. So I will allow you to do this without using an action. I will allow you to just pull him out, no rolls necessary, but you will take this damage.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. So Will, you reach out, you grab onto the staff and are yanked out of the cube. And as you do, the cube wiggles back shut again. And Will, you are free. But unfortunately, as that happens, Ellis, you also take 9 points of acid damage.
Dang.
Just by being like so close. As you pull him out and you turn to like see if he's okay, and the ooze just like grazes your arm and it ruins the elbow of your jacket.
I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. It's like as Will is laying on the ground, just like coughing up like all this acid. I'm like, no, my sleeve, no.
That was a lot of cool stuff. I'll say that took your bonus action and your action, but you have your movement.
Then I'm just going to just like look at Will, and I'm gonna look at Beetle, and then I'm just gonna be like, you get the cat, and then I'm gonna just run as far away from the cube as I can get.
Okay, so you run your full movement 30 feet away, or I'll say like 20 feet away because you had to move there. Like as you're running, you do see Dr. Lau just frozen in place, just terrified.
I'm gonna kind of grab him as I'm going.
Okay, so you want to, so we'll say, you'll stop next to Dr. Lau. Z, you are up. Why don't we start with a luck check, because we did not determine where you are when this initially happened. Roll luck. I will say, just to clarify this, 15 or higher, you were in the room, you're within like walking distance. 10 or higher, you're just outside the room. Anything less than that, you're downstairs.
Okay, I got a 4.
He's in the same room he was earlier, still looking around.
Okay. You hear a massive commotion upstairs as like you just heard the fire, and I imagine you started making your way that way as Dr. Lau was yelling fire. And
Ellis was saying,
but
who started a fire?
Yeah, I will say that you are 120 feet away. That said, you're 120 feet away if you take the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
You are down on the lower level, and as I've kind of described, the lower level is actually open. So you're seeing the ceiling of the house above you. It's like one big room with like a 30-foot tall ceiling. Does that make sense?
Like a loft situation.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Okay, let's see. So first thing I gotta do, gotta loosen my chains. We'll hit legs and tail. So visually, you can see, or you would mostly hear Z's like legs like snapping, and then relocking into place and elongating to become like almost canine, increasing his height by a good bit. and you would see the tail just growing and forming out from his like lower back. Mechanically, whenever he has the aspect of his legs, I gain an additional 10 feet of movement and a horizontal jump that equals my movement, and a vertical jump that equals half of my movement. I can also dash as a bonus action, and with my tail, it allows me to have a swim speed equal to my walking speed. I cannot be knocked prone, and I have an additional attack as a bonus action that can potentially knock other people prone.
As Z transforms, what is he thinking? What is he feeling? What does he do in this moment?
I honestly think a lot of the time when Z transforms, there's like Z's mind is very muddled and like it feels very loud and almost like static to him a lot of the time. Like the world is just very annoying. It's just too much noise, and he just is like very sensitive to all of it. And when he transforms, I feel like the world gets significantly more quiet and he doesn't think at all for the vast majority of it. It almost goes on like pure instinct, and it doesn't require him to think as much. And as far as like what he does, he'll just like take like 2 steps back and then literally just jump up and just like kind of like parkour his hand onto the railing and just kind of clear it. Like, do you need me to make an athletics check?
No, so here's the thing. What I will do is, just because we don't have this like physically like mapped out, I'll have you make an athletics check. If you clear a 20, you will be able to make it to the gelatinous cube in this turn without dashing.
Cool. All right. So that's a 22.
Dope. So you leap, the whole house just shakes for a moment. As you land, Dr. Lau fully passes out. You land, you still have your action. What do you do?
We're gonna start taking some swings with my sledgehammer. And we'll see if we hit. That's 16.
16 hits. For
awesome.
sure.
For the first hit, that's 10 damage for the first hit.
Okay.
And then let's see if we hit 16 again. So 11 damage for the second hit.
All right. So 21 damage total. What do these hits look like?
I think honestly, because it's a gelatinous cube, I think it looks almost like cartoonish, to where like he's spinning or whatever, to where like he just kind of uses the momentum of the hammer and just like takes 2 like full rotation swings out of it, knowing that like it's just gonna go straight through it, just trying to clear through as much material of it as possible.
Got it. Awesome. We are back to the top of the order, which is, of course, the gelatinous cube. Because there's 2 of you here, it is going to try to engulf you, because unfortunately, Will, you are still within 5 feet of this cube.
I told you to take the cat and run.
To make dexterity saving throws.
Oh, I would have tossed Will. I thought Will got farther away than that. I would have like pushed Will, or like used one of my attacks to like chuck him across the room or something.
Well, why don't we do this? Make a wisdom saving throw, DC 15, to see if you can clock him, because he's little. You know what I mean? I don't think Z's fully just jumping into the situation. He like the idea that he would know what just happened is pretty unlikely.
I do want to say I got a 14. I will also say I have a +0, and on my muddle die I rolled a 4. So like I just like I just feel bad on several different points.
So here's the deal. I think now would be a good time to talk about our muddled mechanic. Z's rage is incredibly powerful. It gives him some really amazing bonuses, but each time that he rages, it also provides some negatives. barbarians have never really been known for their great intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. But for Z and the Path of the Demogorgon subclass that we've been creating, it's even worse. Every time that he rages, he will become more and more what we are calling muddled. It's a condition that we've created that basically any time that he is rolling for intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, he will roll a d4 and subtract that from his total. And each time that he rages, he will add a new die. So if he rages all 3 times in a day, he will be rolling 3 muddled die and subtracting that from all saving throws and all ability checks that have to do with wisdom, intelligence, or charisma. And all of that is to reflect exactly what Drew was describing a little bit ago. The monster that lives within him has taken over his mind as well. While he is still himself, it is difficult to think. It is not difficult to fight. And that's the Path of the Demogorgon. I need the 2 of you to make dexterity saving throws. I apologize, Justice, but you are prone and we'll make it with disadvantage. It's a DC 12 though, and you're really good on dex, so like I believe in you, bud.
Yeah. I need to roll a 5 or higher.
Yeah.
So. Ooh. That was a 10 and a 7, so 14.
Yes. So Will, you managed to roll out of the way. Z.
I got 14.
Great. You also managed to get out of the way as it attempts to engulf the 2 of you. We're going to go ahead and move forward to Will's turn. What do you do?
In this alchemy laboratory, is there a vial that's like a base? It's the opposite of an acid that I can recognize.
Oh. Make an investigation check with advantage because I love this.
Okay. 13 plus 9 for 22.
Good grief. Okay. So, I think that... So, describe to me how Will would know this. Like, what do you think Will has done in his life that would, like, prepare him for this moment?
It's him, like, restoring things. From, like, restoring artifacts. He's gotten very accustomed to, like, different ways to clean things, and each thing needs, like, a different kind of a chemical and like, so the kind of, like, proportions and all that. So he would just recognize it's not usually good to combine that thing with an acidic thing, and that's, like, kind of what he's looking for, is, like, something that they do not go well together. Like,
yeah, totally. You see, like, the table that is filled with, like, all of the glassware that Dr. Lau has been using, and you see, like, the common ingredients that he has. You reach over and grab this. What do you do with it as you have it? I'll say it's like a brown jar with, like, a cork lid, but you know what's in it because you've used it before.
I'm just going to, like, spit it and throw it like a knife into the creature.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack roll.
Oh. You kidding me? Okay, that's a 3 plus 7, 10.
A 10 hits.
Sweet.
It is a gelatinous cube. It is a big boy.
It's basically like hitting a wall. You nail this thing. Go ahead and roll sneak attack with 2 additional d6.
Ooh. So that is a d4 and 5d6. That's 14, and if I add my ability score modifier for, like, my normal dagger attack, that becomes an 18.
Awesome. You tear into this thing. So you immediately see, like, as this clay jar hits the gelatinous cube and explodes, you see immediately it caught fire. There's just these, like, black scorch marks, and you all don't hear a noise, but you just feel this just rattle in your chest as this thing apparently screams out in pain.
As a bonus action, I would like to hide under a desk.
Okay, yeah. Of course. Yeah, go ahead and make a hide.
Roll for scurry, please.
Oh, and because you're so small, roll with advantage.
All right. I rolled a 16 and then a 19 plus 10. That's a 29.
Okay, yeah, you're gone. you Ellis. Will might have plane shifted. And it is now your turn.
The thing he threw into the creature, has it made a hole in it?
Yeah, I'll say it looks like a blast, like a little crater.
So, I would like to run up to it, and I would like to put a fireball inside of it. And I think that the plan, if you'll allow it, I want to hand it to Z and have Z put it in.
Interesting. What I'll put this down to then is just a simple Arcana check.
Okay.
We'll say DC 15. Roll this with advantage.
That worked. That's an 18.
Nice. Ellis, describe like what happens when you do this.
He runs over and he starts like thinking back on like how he made Fireball, the way to kind of construct it, and holds like basically like what is a base in his left hand where like just fire begins to like grow, and then he takes his other hand and like these threads kind of shoot out, and then the fire goes up into the middle, and then these threads go up from his fingers on the bottom, and he begins to wrap and weave around the fire, making it into a ball, and it's loose, and then he pulls on the threads and tightens it down into one like comet, and goes and starts glowing with like a lot of kinetic energy, and then he takes that and he goes to hand that little orb to Z. And yes, it is the thing from Avatar: The Last Airbender, that really freaking cool comet thing that Fire Lord Ozai does. It looks exactly, it sounds exactly like that. It's so cool.
So Z, you experience this thing from Avatar. What do you do?
Do I just shove this into it?
Put it in there.
All right, back up.
Yeah, I run the other direction. And I run, and I'm going to tackle Dr. Lau to the ground. And I'm going to be like, get down!
He is very passed out.
I just kind of like elbow drop him.
Wake up!
Stay on the ground!
Wake up so I can knock you out.
All right. Any bonus actions or anything for your turn?
No. Oh, wait, no. Heightened spell on the
Okay.
on the slime.
Of course. All right. Z, you're up.
I guess I'll just shove my hand into it as like far in as I physically can.
I love this move. What I will do is you'll take this damage, but the fireball will do double damage because it's coming from inside it.
Cool.
Okay, you take 17 points of acid damage.
Ow.
You stick this fireball in there. What do you do with the rest of your turn? We'll say that was like one attack.
That was a 17 to hit. Yeah, I did more damage this time. Not a ton more, but more. 15 damage. And then I will try and tail swipe it before running away. I rolled a 1.
So that is a miss. Okay, so then you run away. Gelatinous Cube does not get opportunity attacks. So heightened spell, what does your fireball normally do?
It doesn't change the amount of damage. It changes whether or not it saves. So it's a disadvantage on its saving.
Got it. Awesome. Okay. So what I'm going to do is if it succeeds, it takes full damage. If it fails, it takes double damage. rather than rolling 16d6. That's what I'm going to do.
I like it. 24.
24. Okay, I'll tell you right now. If it fails the save, it dies. And it has what is the dexterity?
Yeah, 15.
And it has a -4 to its dex. So on a
19, it has to roll a 19 or higher.
it has to roll a 19 or higher to survive.
I like those odds.
He just rolled an 18.
Oh, dude.
Ellis, would you please describe to us what happens to this ooze?
I think that the soundtrack, and if you could edit this in, an operatic choir comes in, goes into the deepest, most guttural slow motion as it just explodes from the inside. Like, you know those slow-mo guys videos of them shooting a gun underwater? You know, like that big vacuum of air?
Or I'm even thinking like the ballistic gel. It's exactly what
Yes, exactly. So it just grows up like that. And then as it goes in there, as it spreads out, the fire begins to fill as it reaches the outside, and all of the jello just starts flying all across the room. Just flying, splattering the walls. Beetle's still asleep. None of it's hitting her. And it's just like landing all around, and it's just burning holes in its walls. And it just melts completely.
The three of you are standing in the aftermath, and you see Dr. Lau is still just completely unconscious. Z and Ellis, I need each of you to roll a d20 for me.
6.
That's a 3.
Ellis, as you stand here, basking in the glory of what just happened,
My arms are outstretched.
you feel a thud in your back, and you begin to like look down, and you see the tip of an arrow sticking out the front of your chest. I need you to make a con saving throw.
Oh my gosh, that's like the 6th 9 I've rolled tonight. Luckily, I'm very good at con, so that's a 15.
Fortunately, you do not take 31 poison damage. You only take 15.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you also take 25 piercing damage as this one shot drops you to the ground. Will, from your hiding place, you see this happen. You're just about to come out thinking the battle was over. And you turn to look, and standing in the doorway of this room is a woman with purple hair. She has a crossbow in her hand and fear on her face. And she says to Z, "I'm sorry, but I really need that gold."